What is up, everybody? As you can see, I am in my Land Rover and I'm wearing contacts, which is not common for me. But with this race weekend coming up, I have secured a truck to pull my trailer, but I haven't secured one for May, which means I'm gonna be in trouble for May when the race comes up if I don't have something to get my car to the track. As you can see behind me, right, you can see the Yukon. I need to go ahead and start. Today is gonna be pretty simplistic. We're just gonna go ahead and reconnect the parking brake line. The parking brake line, the previous owner has told me when I bought it that he disconnected it for a job and never reconnected it. So we're gonna go ahead and get under there and we're gonna go ahead and reconnect it. Should be a pretty simplistic job. Without the parking brake though, the only thing holding that in place is the transmission. So once I pull the transmission, there's nothing stopping it from rolling backwards or forwards or however anyone decides they want to push it. So we're gonna go ahead and get under there and take a look and get that parking brake hooked up so that we can safely work on the car. Conveniently, however, the day that I decide that I need to get this done, the only day that I can do this, it's got a 20% chance of rain. So our idea here with the Yukon, luckily it's not super wet on the ground yet, but it will, it'll get worse through the day. So here is where the parking brake obviously connects to the parking brake lever to connect it. So I noticed when I bought it that that was not connected. No big deal. These look like our parking brake lines right here. So we need to get those reconnected to that. Well, that's a problem. That doesn't necessarily look disconnected. More along the lines of cut, should I say? I think they're both that way. That may have put a damper on today's plans. Luckily, it's probably a good thing with it raining like this. It is exactly what I would have said had I not already noticed this when I looked at it initially bringing it here. So I have a solution, sadly. So I went out and I ordered, boom, brand new brake cables. Shorter one is driver side, longer one is passenger side. But I think our first step is more or less figuring out how this thing goes on there, because I don't actually fully know how that mechanism works. This is the brake line for the driver's side right here. And as you can see, it goes up into the hub somehow. Looking at it, it's kind of hard to see, but the most likely scenario is I'm gonna have to jack this up and get it off the ground and get this wheel off. I might need to take off the rotor to get to something behind there for the parking brake, but I'm not sure. Now I apologize, I have switched to my phone here, which is probably gonna happen a few times throughout this video just because it's waterproof and my poor little camera is not waterproof. But these are not, I believe, metric, which is very unfortunate. There's all these little caps covering them, and then there's this tool that came with it. Now I found out this is like a 7/8, which I do have a 7/8 socket, but this thing looks like it fits on there, but not with this whole thing on. So I think the matter here is going to be getting this whole hubcap off. So, give me 1 second. Let's see if this guy really does fit now. Indeed it does. It's a little loose though. My good jack is too small, so I guess I'm gonna have to use this piece of garbage. Since this, I don't have the handle for this, and my other jack's not tall enough, I've got an OSHA-approved method. Solve. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna pull this wheel off. I did try and take another look at the parking brake cable. Looks like it might not be terrible, but I'm gonna get the wheel off so I can see the back. Might not have to take off the whole rotor. Now I can sit here and hand unthread these all I want, but let's be honest, the quickest way to do this is a little bit of magic. Hey look, that made the sun come out. Now for the wheel. Oh, nice rock solid. Boom, beautiful. Back to the phone, not because of the rain, it's actually nice and sunny now, because of what I'm trying to show here. So you can see we kind of got this like little window here, and then on this end some ears. You can see where the window goes through this little hook right here to hold it in, and then the whole thing fits into this assembly right here. So I believe there's no need to take this off, but I need to get this out of this, and that'll allow me to unhook it there and hook in the new one. So here's where we're at. I'm struggling to get this guy off right now. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna follow this cable somewhere along in this area here. It is screwed in. We're gonna disconnect it, pull the whole cable back here, and that should give me the play I need to get this out. And then this is the bolt that I was talking about. It's right there on the axle. We've removed one of the cables. I'm pretty comfortable in saying that it's probably best that I hook this first and that last. Now real quick with this aftermarket part here, this bracket's also on backwards. It needs to be the other way. So they did this one really wrong. Brilliant. Now with this one done, we've only got one more to go. I'm probably going to wait till tomorrow to do the actual connecting of them to the main line, because I need to get something to loosen up that bolt. But I'm gonna go ahead and do the other one. There is something that's gonna make it a little bit easier though. Let me show you. Now if you take a look over here on this side, that is the parking brake cable. And I should have looked at this side first. I don't know why I didn't bother to look at this side to see if I could get more information. But it's on the bottom of the wheel, not the top, which means I don't need to take the wheel off to get to it, because there's plenty of room here. And then I can run the new one, so should be pretty simple. So this one runs a little bit differently than the other one. I mean, obviously it has to go somewhere different. But to get this one out, well, let me just quickly show you. It runs through there, runs up here, kind of see the curve there, runs over the diff, and over to where I just detached it. So I've got it fed over to this side, it's just hanging there. Just got to feed it through and head it over to the other side so it can be ready, like this one, to be fully hooked up. Both of them are ready to get hooked up to that. I gotta get some WD-40 to get this off. Then I can pull this off and get them hooked up to that. I'm gonna go ahead and just get this thing back on the ground, wheel back on it, and then lower it back down. I'm not keeping it on jack stands around here. I'm allowed to use the parking lot, but there's a lot of kids around here, so it's just not safe to have this thing in any condition. other than on all four wheels. So that's actually kind of part of why I'm doing the parking brake. I could have just thrown chucks behind it if I was doing this somewhere else, but because there's kids around, you know, I gotta make sure that it's as safe as possible. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean up, and then we'll just pick this up tomorrow where we connect the parking brake fully. Back with day two. So basically what I needed was this stuff right here. So I'm gonna hit it with this, get that a little bit loosened up. Then we should be able to get the nut off, the parking brakes attached, and then tightened. And I did not bring the keys to the Yukon, so I guess we're just gonna have to not get into it. I don't see any need to actually get into it today because we're doing all the work underneath. But let's get on it. If I was strong enough, I could just pull this thing, but I'm not strong enough because it pulls on the parking brake, which gives it some room to play here. Oh, I've gotten it close. You would think that they'd make this so it was long enough that they just touched each other and went in, and then you could tighten it down, but no, they make it too short for that. There's no way this is happening with my hands. All right, I went home. I grabbed the key to the Yukon because I had this idea that maybe this wasn't as pulled out, or the parking brake wasn't as released as it could be, which I was right, but let's see if it was a significant amount. Well, significant enough I got the top one in. Let's see if I can do that with the bottom. Oh man, it's so close. Okay, that's what I needed. No special tools. I just needed to go release the parking brake a little bit more. I do now need to tighten this quite a bit. So, there's your parking brake. It might be really good leverage, but this feels really easy to do. Like, usually they're a lot tighter. It also could be that it is a new cable, so there's nothing wrong there. There's no rust or anything, but that does lead me to believe that maybe something's wrong internally, and the guys completely removed the parking brake altogether for some reason. So what I'm gonna do is, this thing doesn't turn on right now, but I'm gonna put it in neutral with the parking brake engaged and see if I can push it out backwards a little bit. And if I can, then we know something's wrong. Okay, I saw it rolling. Parking brake engaged. Oh yeah, it's holding. Anyway guys, I think that more or less cuts it for this video. I know I'm not in my regular garage space, I'm in a parking lot, so it's a little bit different of a shot to end off a video on, guys, but I hope you enjoyed it. Look forward to a lot more racing we have coming up this year, as well as more videos on the Yukon, the BMW, and potentially even my Audi. If you guys like the video, maybe consider liking down below. If you guys like the content, maybe consider subscribing. I've got a lot more videos on this type of stuff, car work and car failures, as it always happens, like I had last weekend, although that was just a broken bolt. We were able to remedy that pretty quickly, so hopefully nothing more major happens to any of my cars, because currently it's my M3 and my Land Rover that are driving. Everything else is broken. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.